So far, we have seen how to work with numbers, both with integers and as well as reals. The second type of data in general is the character data. So apart from numbers, we use characters a lot. Example, for names, departments. So most of these emails, so they are all character data. Now, how do we define character data? So to work with character data, Java supports one data type called char. But the problem with char data type is it is going to store only one character from the entire universal character set. As we know that universal character set contains 65,536 characters, Java char data type allows you to store only a single character. You cannot use more than single character. So if you use more than single character, it is called a string in Java, which is an object, not a primitive. So to work with char as a data type, we are allowed to use only a single character that is embedded within the single quotes. Now let us understand how do you code or how do you use character data type in your program.
Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you're new to Training Mark, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together.
To define character data type, so we use a keyword called char, so which allows you to store only a single character from 65,536 characters, that is universal characters. How do you define a character? Example, I'm using char as a data type and gender, and then I'll use gender equals whatever the alphabet that you want to use, or maybe you can use digit or a special character, anything from the entire universal character set, you can use it to assign it as a character data. Now here, I'm using M within the single quotes. So now, if you define a gender is equal to F, you'll get an error here. Why? Because this F is a character data, so definitely you have to put it within the single quotes. So otherwise, you'll get a compilation error. So now this is what is the value that we are changing, right? So now when I print this as out and then gender, so now since I have changed the value from male to female, then I'll get female. So now let me run the code to see the output that what we get. Now here I got gender as F because the value I have changed it from line number 66 in line number 68. Now the question comes, how much memory the character data type stores, or how much memory it uses to store a character data type? Well, we can decide how much memory is required for numbers because they are numbers which will be converted into binary. And then based on the binary sequence, we'll know how much memory it will be allocated. But how come a character data gets stored into the memory? Or how come an M will be converted into a sequence of byte? So we cannot convert a character directly to a byte. So for that, so programming languages use some codes. Then what you call it as, suppose if you are using ANSI character set, each character in ANSI character set is represented by a code which you call it as ASCII code. So ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So meaning every character will be represented by a number which is called as ASCII code. Example, the capital A is internally represented with a ASCII code of 65. Capital B is 67. Like that, every character of 256 characters, the ASCII code values are ranges from 0 to 255. These are completely unsigned numbers, means you don't have any negative values. So in order to store from 0 to 255 value, you just need only one byte of memory. So means in C and C++, the character data type uses only one byte of memory because there are only 256 characters. The ASCII code ranges are from 0 to 255. But Java uses universal characters, which contains 65,536 characters. Now to store only one character from entire this thing, The Unicode range is from 0 to 65,535. So to store any value or the maximum value of 65,535, it requires 2 bytes of memory. So that's why the character data type in Java uses 2 bytes of memory to store the data. Whereas in C and C++, it just use only 1 byte because there we use ANSI character set, here we use universal character set. The ASCII code is from 0 to 255 and Unicode is from 0 to 65,535. So, like if you're looking this M, which is the equivalent of an ASCII code number or a Unicode number, will be converted into binary and will be stored into the memory. And when you're printing, the binary sequence will be retrieved and reconverted into character and then will be printed. Now, what happens if I create a character data, something like this, data equals some 95 or 97. So the 97 is a ASCII code which represents small a character. But now you see, even though we're not using single quotes, it is not giving me any error. Why? Because here directly I'm assigning 97 as a ASCII code. Means what? This is pretty much equivalent that you're creating data is equals to the small a within the single quotes. So because A's ASCII code value is 97, directly we are assigning the ASCII code here. So that is allowed. So you don't need to reconvert it. So by default, Java understands this as a ASCII code and then will assign the appropriate character. So when I print this value, so now I'll say data is now plus data. And when I run this, I don't get 97, but rather I'll get small a as an output. So now if you can see this, now what I got data is small a. So means there are two ways that I can define a character data. One is within the single quotes and second one is directly giving ASCII code. Now let us understand the difference here. So now is there any difference of defining a data is equal to 1 and data is equal to 1. So what is the difference between these two? The difference between these two is the corresponding character which points to this ASCII code will be assigned to data. But here the digit 1 is directly assigned as a character here to the data. So if I print here S out the data, so it won't print 1, rather the character which represents the ASCII code with 1 will be printed. But whereas here directly the data with 1 gets printed. So that is the difference. This is one of the very important interview questions, especially in the certification. So when you run this code, you can see that the output says data is some empty character because the ASCII code 1, the corresponding character will be displayed now here within the symbol. But now here directly 1 is printed because directly we are assigning numeric digit 1 as a character. So that is the difference of using ASCII code to a character and directly giving character within the single quotes. But what actually happens if I give something like this? Data is equals to 1 1 or AA. So you'll get this error because so more than one character you cannot use because character data allows you to use a single character. So now allows only single character. So this is the way how we represent the char data